To be at peace with what once was and open to what's to come has been one of the best changes in perspective that has ultimately helped my life, just in a positive way. To really, embrace and acknowledge, things that have happened in my past, and, to be accountable and to, grow through these things that I've been through, and to allow them to be released and, let go of them so that I can be open to receive, what it is that's in front of me. To be open to the goodness of what God has for us in our lives, and rather, embrace those things and be open to the goodness of those in a positive manner with a positive perspective, rather than, holding on to the victim mentality and focusing on the negative things that have happened. I feel through a change in perspective for me has ultimately been the difference maker in my life, and allowed me to truly embrace, things that I was once looking at as negatives, but they were actually positives. They were things that actually helped me be and become, ultimately who God created me to be. I like to always, the analogy of, diamonds are only made under pressure, real diamonds. And I feel, through the things that we go through in life, with a change of perspective, we can understand that they're actually helping us, propelling us forward, to who it is we're ultimately trying to become. But to sometimes, something I struggled with was to, maybe look at the situation for what, I wanted it to be, rather than for what it was, just, being truthful and honest with myself, and, trying to figure out, okay, how can I use this situation to, turn my pain into purpose and my wounds into wisdom? How can I use this moment in my life to ultimately create a foundation for, the goodness that's to come? To know this is only a moment, this is only a chapter in my story. This does not define who I am as a person. It doesn't define, the journey that I've been on. It's just a stepping stool in the journey that will ultimately lead me to the place I'm trying to get to, which I feel, every single day we're working towards, to the best of our abilities. Knowing that there really is no end destination. It's a never-ending journey of bettering oneself. But I feel through a change of perspective, we can allow ourselves the opportunity to, just be our best selves, to forgive, things that have happened either to us or things that we have done, to forgive ourselves first and then forgive others, and allow that realization to, propel us forward into, what is that God has for us, which is, just the goodness and the blissfulness of life, because every moment, there's so much goodness and there's so much positivity that is at our disposal. But if we're hurting and we're in a negative perspective and a negative mindset, we might overlook something that was ultimately there to help us. We might overlook a conversation or a person that was ultimately in our life to help us. But, through I feel the healing and the releasing of the negative things, we open up room in our hearts for the goodness of things to come in. So that was just a quick message about, changing in perspective, to be at peace with what once was and open to, what's to come. So appreciate you guys.